Welcome back to the new edition of this particular YouTube channel, Analyze with Ade Ayo. Alright, so in today's particular video, I'm going to take you guys through the process of the new basketball under total points. This particular betting strategy, actually for me, I don't really like predicting my games on basketball total points. But of recent, this particular basketball under point has been working out so well, if not 100%, currently 98, 99% accurate. Alright, so in today's particular video, I'm going to show you guys the step-by-step guide on how you can also make your own basketball under point predictions. Because before, if not until I predicted this particular game of 3.56 odd that are caught by just one games, it has been working out so well for like 100%. Like, I believe the strategy was 100% accurate, but I still have the belief that no strategy is 100% accurate. So alright, so just make sure that you pay attention to details in this particular video and make sure that you are not missing any point. And also, the next thing that we are going to be doing right now is that most of the games that I predicted of recent, these basketball games under the WNBA USA, and we predicted some games under the Mexico League. So these two games are the under total point that we are going to look into. But I will use this particular Washington Mystics as an example, and you guys will observe the other games that came out so well, and we are going to make use of the same process to check it out. These particular games are under the Mexico League, and depending on the bookies that you are using, depending if they provide the odd line that meet up with your analysis. So now I'll be treating WNBA games first, and don't forget we predicted all these particular three games that you guys are looking into, and the only games that we predict as over points happens to be this particular match between Las Vegas against Minnesota Lynx. So we predicted the game as over 150, and the rest we predicted them as under total points, and they all came out so well. So the first thing that you just need to do, because we are looking into how you can make use of this particular basketball under total points, I'm going to teach you guys the full steps right now. So we are going to look into these two games, and let's start. So let us go with Washington Phoenix before we proceed to the other game. So what I do mostly is that when it comes to predicting basketball under point, what you just need to do is to look into their last 5 games alone. So we have the last 5 games of this of the home team, which happens to be Washington, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what you just need to do when it comes to predicting under total point is to pick out of the last 5 games of each team, just pick the smallest total point in their last 5 games and the highest total point. Very simple. So how are we going to know the smallest total point and the highest total point? So I'll be adding up each and every each point that we have here. I'll be adding it, and in order to check the highest and the smallest point. Alright, so the first game that we have here happens to be 81-78, and we are going to add this together, and we are getting 159. So let us just make use of the calculator so that everything will be accurate. Alright, so we have 81 plus 78, so we have 159 for the first point, and for the second point 99.62. 99. So I just want you guys to make sure that you are documenting these particular steps down, because this thing, every midnight you can be using it to make something good out of basketball games. Alright, so we have 80, 89 and 63. Alright, so we have 152. Please kindly make sure that you are documenting these particular steps down so that you are not, and make sure you are not missing any points. Alright, so we have the fourth game, and the match ended up as 82 and 84, and that is 166. You can calculate that. And we have the last one, 81 and 91. 81 91. All right, so we have 172. All right, so don't forget what I told you guys, that when you check the last 5 games of each team, you have to pick the smallest and the highest. So this one actually accumulated into 159, and this one happens to be 161, this one 161, and this one 152, this one 166, and this one 172. All right, so the highest figure that we have in the last 5 games of the home team happens to be 172, and the smallest that we had in their last 5 games happens to be 152. So this happens to be the highest game they played in the last 5 games, and this one happens to be the smallest point they had in their last 5 games. So what we just need to do next is to add the smallest point and the highest point together, which is 152 plus 172. So when you add it and get 324 for the home team, then you divide by 2, and that is 162, right? So this particular 162 is what you are going to keep in one place. Just keep it one place, and you can label it as a home team. Just keep it like that. So then you apply the same steps on the away team also. So we are going to apply the same step on the Phoenix Mercury. So this is the last 5 games. Alright, now so adding the last 5 games, each point of the last 5 games together. So for this we are getting 164, adding 85 and 79 together we are getting 164, and adding 80 plus 63 we are getting 143, and adding 83 plus 79 we are getting 162, and adding 84 plus 92 we are getting 176, and adding the last match, which happens to be the 5th game, adding the 81 and 72 together we are getting 153. So out of these particular last 5 games, we are picking out the smallest and the highest, and the smallest happens to be 143, the match that ended up as 80 and 63, and picking out the highest figure, we are going for the match that ended up as a 176. So what you just need to do is to add the smallest point in the last 5 games and the highest point in the last 5 games together. So let's go. Alright, so 143 for the away team plus 176, the highest figure that they had in the last 5 games. So we are getting 319. So this 319 is what you are going to divide by 2, and we are getting 159.5. So this 159.5 is what you are going to keep in one place, and you can label it as a away team. Are you guys getting it? Just keep it in one side and label it as a away team. Alright, now so the last part of it is to move on to their head-to-head. Alright, so when you move on to their head-to-head, we check the last 5 games again. So we add everything up. Alright, so let's add everything up to get the smallest figure and the highest figure in their last head-to-head. Alright, so we have 72 plus 88, and this one is 160. And for this particular game, 68 plus 62, and that is 130. Alright, adding up the third game, 77 plus 90. Alright, so we have 167. So we have 87 plus 96. Alright, so we have 183. And the last game, we have 83 and 80, and that is 163. So out of this particular last 5 games against each other, the smallest that we have there is 130, and the highest figure that we had happens to be 183. So the smallest figure and the highest figure, we are going to add it up together now to get our head-to-head average point. All right, so we have 130 plus 183, and we are getting 313, right? So divide it by 2, you are getting 156.5. All right, so don't forget, when we check the last 5 games of the home team, which happens to be Washington, after adding up the smallest figure they had in the last 5 games and the highest figure, we're able to get 162, right? If you are following this, 162, then you add 162 with the figure that we got from the away team after adding up their smallest points and their highest point in the last 5 games, which happens to be 159.5. And for their head to head, we had 156.5 after adding up 130 and 183 together, and we're able to get 156.5. So you are going to add that one too, and in total we're able to get 478. So this particular 478 is what you are going to divide by 3. I'm dividing it by 3 because I'm using the points, because the total numbers of points that accumulated into this particular 478, we got it from the home team, away team, and their head to head. So we got it from the 3 sources, so that's why we are dividing it by 3. So let's divide it by 3, and we are getting what? 159. Alright, so now that you have 159, what you just need to do next is to add 10 to it, because of what you are predicting, what? Under point. If you happen to be predicting maybe total over point, then you'll be subtracting from any average point that you get. Are you getting it? So subtracting 10 points is just by my choice. You can decide to be subtracting 15 points, you can decide to be subtracting 20 points, and you can decide to be adding 20 points if you want to predict your under total games in basketball. But if you want to be predicting over points, you need to subtract from the average point. But if you want to predict under points, you need to add certain figures depending on your choice and depending on how safe you want to predict that particular games. Alright, so after adding up 10 to this particular average point, we're able to get 169. So if I want to predict this particular game, I can decide to go for under 169, under 170, under 171, depending on the available odd line that the bookmakers are providing. So now if I want to predict this particular game, I would have predicted it as under 169.5, and the game ended up as a 79.75, which accumulated to total, which means the total point ended up as a 144, right? If I'm right, yes, 69.75, 144. Now let's check what I predict this particular game. Alright, so I predicted this particular game as under 170.5, and I didn't mean that I predicted it as maybe probably under 169 I would have won the game, under 170.5 I would have won the game, or predicting it as under 159.5. But surely if you want to predict your games under points, just make sure that you add certain figures to it. If it is under, add certain figures to it depending on how safe you want your slips to be, and if you want to predict over, subtract certain figures from it depending on how safe you want your slips to be. Alright, so if you want to apply the same step that we did to this particular game that ended up as 164, we predicted it as under 171.5 and the game ended up as 164. So if you want to check the process, you can also apply this same strategy. Just apply it on it and you are going to see the outcome. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to just consume your time by repeating the same process that we used for this particular game. So what you just need to do is to check the game, follow the same process, and you see that you are getting the same prediction like this. It will be like it will just be like you predicted this particular winning slips. So that's how it is. And the same steps happens to be what I applied on this particular Mexico League games, predicting under basketball total points using that simple strategy. Like seriously, that simple strategy. It will take your time, and if you cannot dedicate your time to doing analysis, it can be stressful to you sometimes, but if you can take your time very well, this thing is really working out so well. Alright, so thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like our video, subscribe, and make sure that you drop your comment in case if you have any question regarding to this particular strategy. Don't forget to join our private circle group too for more daily discipline tips. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.